Hey, what's going on, guys? So, apologies for the late video, but as promised, this is going to be the Dragunity Dragon Link combo. Like I stated in the previous video, the point of this is to go Crystal Wing as quickly as possible, so that way you can normal summon whatever you want and do your typical Dragon Link combo stuff. Now, a couple quick notes here. Obviously, Remus is the quickest, easiest, fastest way, and most efficient way to do this. The other ways you can do it is if you open one Dragon Ravine, the first thing you do is you add the Remus, and then you discard the Remus for the second Ravine, and then you proceed to combo. The other way that you can do it is if you were forced to normal summon, if you have no other option, you can make a Romulus to add the Dragon Ravine, but that can kind of conflict a little bit, as I'll show a little bit later. If you're struggling to get towards the Tracer, there are kind of ways around it with like LP and stuff, but you just kind of got to be aware of how you're able to get to the Crystal Wing as quickly as possible without hurting yourself in the long run, continuing your full combo. So the replay I have here, the first one that we're gonna do, is just your typical Crystal Wing combo. Now this is actually within 5 summons, so Nibiru is instantly turned off when Crystal Wing hits the field. The only things that really stop this are like Imperm, Ash, Gamma, Ghost Spell, like your other typical hand traps. But if they focus them on this, which they kind of have to, uh, then the rest of your combo isn't going to be susceptible to it because they've already used it. So starting off here, you just add the Ravine, use the Ravine. You're gonna call that you're adding a Dragunity. The Dragunity is gonna be Legatus. Legatus is gonna bring himself out since you control Dragon Ravine. And then Remus, since you control Legatus, is going to come out from the graveyard. Uh, he will lock you in the dragons, which is perfectly fine in this build because everything is dragon in the extra deck. Um, and then he's going to banish himself when he leaves the field. So we're going to Synchro 6 here. We are going to make our Gators. Gators' effect, you first add a level 4 lower dragon or wing beast. Then you discard any dragon or wing beast. It does not have to be the exact same one that you add, and I'll explain a little bit later as to why that can be really helpful and really relevant. So we are going to add Mist Valley Baby Rock, a level 2 wing beast. So its effect, when it's sent from the hand to the grave, it's going to be able to special summon itself. So Gator's last part of his effect is going to be to discard it. Now, because it's the last part of the effect, it isn't going to miss timing, which means Baby Rock can trigger. So this is going to be summon number 4, and the 5th summon is going to be our Crystal Wing. Now, just a quick tip: the leftmost zone is going to be the most optimal place to put this card. And the reason why is because it's a lot easier and more efficient to put your links over here in the far right zone, extra monster zone. It doesn't really matter in the long run. Me personally, when I first started learning Dragon Link, I would just use the left one. I don't know why. I guess I'm just a papega. But you can use either or. Putting it in the far left is the most efficient. Now, zone management is actually like very important and very relevant, especially for your later combos, and I'll show you a little bit later. But yeah, basically this is just Crystal Wing Rush followed by proceeding to normal summon. The second replay is going to be basically like you open pretty nutty, and you have like the full combo with no real restrictions. Safert can be Chaos Space followed by any light or dark monster. Safert's just like the easiest way to kind of show this off. Other relevant things that are really helpful in this scenario that you don't want to discard if you don't have to, are something like your Gar Dragon, or like your white or black dragon. Because that's what you're going to be using to combo later on. So starting off, we're going to do our typical Crystal Wing play here. The Ravine into the Legatus, into the Baby Rock. From the Gators, we're going to make the Crystal Wing. So now that we've done that, we're going to either do the Chaos Space or we're going to do the normal summon of the Safert, whatever you're going to use here to start climbing up. So just to make life easy, Safert's going to add the Black Dragon. Black Dragon's going to come out. Striker. And then because these are both simultaneous effects, you can order your chain links pretty much however you want because you're not really afraid of hand traps at this point. So you had the boot sector, you had the white dragon. White dragon's going to climb you up even further. And then now we're going to make our Heraldic Seal. Then from there, we're going to boot sector. We're going to do standard rocket combo into our first is going to be our LP. The second one is going to be our second Striker Dragon. And the reason why we do this for people who don't know is because since Striker points left and Seal points diagonal left, this zone is now open for your LP. The other way that you could do this, depending on if you've used the second striker effect or not, is you could just put the Pisty here, and then it does get kind of convoluted, but you could still pretty fairly easily combo even if you do it that way. So LP's going to trigger because this specific this specific combo I'm showing right now hasn't used this as the normal summon. This is where Black Dragon becomes relevant, and it's going to come out. And then what you're going to do next, before you link off again, is you're going to use Striker's second effect, and you're going to clear the LP off the field to make room for your next link. So you're going to pop your LP, you're going to put the Recharger in the hand, and because you just popped the LP, which is a Dark Dragon monster special summon from the extra deck, that means Recharger's live. So Recharger's going to trigger, Recharger's going to bring himself into the graveyard and going to target the LP. Resolution, you're going to bring out your Tracer. Then what you're going to do is you're going to link 1 into your Pisty, and that's going to trigger your Black Metal. Black Metal is going to add the red MD, and then from here, we're going to trigger the Pisty, and we're going to target the Recharger, and the Recharger is going to come out. Now, we're going to bring out our Chaos Ruler. Now, for this specific replay, the mill doesn't matter. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm about to show right after this if the mill is relevant, how much further you can extend from here. But you're going to use the effect. Mill 5, add a lighter dark. And then you're going to banish the striker for the red MD. Then you're going to trigger the red MD. You're going to bring out the tracer. You're going to link 2 from here. Because you're locked into darks, and because you're trying to clear off space a little bit here, you are going to make the card no one's ever heard of before, Galaxy Satellite Dragon. Just one more card that can put pressure on your opponent. I really freaking love this card. It makes people really decide on what they're going to do to your board if they don't just open Dark Ruler or Lightning Storm combined. And I really like it. It's really nice. Then what we're going to do is we're going to turn a dragon and a rocket into our quad boral. This is why this is really relevant and necessary. You're going to use the effect. You're going to target itself. You're going to use your last discard here. You're going to pop itself. You're going to bring out your Recharger and your Tracer. You're going to bring out your Savage. You're going to use Savage effect. You're going to equip the Quad Boral, and that's going to give you 2 tokens. Also playing around the Mech Knights, obviously, because, you know, apparently people are playing Mech Knights now. So this is pretty typical of the board. 2 negates, sometimes 3, generally a pop, and if you want to style on people, you can always bring out this card and let them try to read it for 5 minutes and tell them that it's completely irrelevant except the last effect. And then moving on from that replay, we're winding it back just a little bit of the same combo. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to show you what happens when Chaos Ruler actually has relevant mills. So you're going to do the same thing you did before all the way up until you climb into the Pisty. Pisty's going to bring back the Recharger. You're going to Synchro 8. It's going to bring out the Chaos Ruler. Chaos Ruler is going to mill 5. And let's say Chaos Ruler not only gives you the Synchron, but either you've got a relevant card that you haven't discarded, or you have another way to extend. For example, I just milled Tidying and Chamber. Let's say at some point those both wind up in the graveyard. What you can do from there is just go straight into Red MD, use the Red MD effect, bring out a rocket, Style on your opponent again with the Galaxy Satellite. Do the same quad whirl combo again, but the way that it's going to work is when you activate quad whirl and you discard, you're going to pop itself again, you're going to bring out the Synchron, and you're going to bring out the Tracer. Now, the reason why you do this is you're going to use your Tidying or your Guard Dragon or whatever you're using to extend with a level 4 monster. For example, this is going to be the Chamber. This becomes your Savage. Savage is going to trigger, giving you the quad whirl. Then what you're going to do is you're going to banish light and dark from your graveyard because you just put Chaos Rule in the graveyard because you linked it off for the Galaxy Satellite. Now that you've got a level 8 Synchro and you've got a level 1 tuner, this becomes your Hot Red. So this is basically max board. This is basically instantly game 2. But yeah, this is pretty much the maximum potential of what the deck can do, and that's not including if you have like your Nocto Vision and you haven't drawn, if you haven't used Chaos Space to draw a card, as you saw me mill off of the Chaos Ruler. Like this is just like the bare bones like maximum board without like the maximum hand advantage and whatnot. Like for example, the Chamber, which is why I'm upping the Tidying to 2. Once the Chamber would come out, you would add like the Tidying, so you could set the Tidying and whatnot. So yeah, this deck is absolutely incredibly explosive, and it's honestly really consistent. I think, like I said before, your general typical end board is like a minimum 2 negates with or without like a bounce. Occasionally, you wind up with all 3 of these. Like, it's just insane what this deck can do. And then moving on a little bit, let's say your hand isn't perfect and you're trying to figure out what you can do with just say your standard ladder climb plus your 1 negate. So we're going to do our typical Dragon Ravine play. Standard stuff from here, making the Crystal Wing. Then what we're going to do, ladder climb again. Simultaneous effects. So now that we don't have Tracer, but we do have the Boot Sector, what we're going to be linking off for instead is going to be the Romulus. This does get a little bit tricky, like I said. If you open like double, or if you open like a Ravine without like a Remus, it does get kind of awkward. So you do kind of have to be wary of like what you can do. Sometimes you just have to end on like a Seal plus the Crystal Wing, but it is what it is. So you're gonna use the dragon. You're gonna add the Dragon Ravine. You're gonna activate Dragon Ravine effect. This time, instead of calling it Dragunity, you're going to send a dragon monster from the deck to the graveyard, which is going to be your Absolouter. Absolouter is going to trigger, letting you add a rocket from your deck to your hand. And the one you're going to add is going to be Tracer. And then from here on out, you're basically going to proceed with combo. And then the last little bit here, kind of touching up a little bit on like other cards that are potentially relevant. Like I said before, if you open the Ravine instead of the Remus, you do have to use both, which is why you do play 2. Because if you don't, there's really no way to make Crystal Wing without it. Mist Valley Baby Rock. I know this looks like a brick in your hand, but in all honesty, in reality, this card's actually insane. And the reason why is because you're going into the Gators, and what the Gators does is lets you add just any level 4 dragon instead of the Baby Rock. So you add whatever you need, whether you need the Tracer, whether you need your normal summon, whatever dragon that's level 4 or lower that you need, and then you just send the Baby Rock instead. It's just honestly really really good, and it's not as much of a brick as you would think. Chaos Space, like I said, if you don't open the Safert, if you open this instead with a viable target, you're just able to like ladder climb from there. And the other reason why this is really good that people kind of forget, especially when they're starting out, is this card. Its second effect is it allows you to draw a card basically in the middle of your climb. So that always really helps with like the hand advantage. Like I was saying before with the Brotar, discarding 3 can get really rough, and it turns into 4 if you do that with the quad boral play. And cards like Nocto or like Chaos Space kind of really help like mitigate that. Chamber 2 in a way, depending on if you really need the tidying or not. And then the last card here, Tidying. Um, this is a really good card to discard off of the Dragon Ravine. Um, because like a lot of times if you're not going into black metal, you're going to be going into the chamber, and then you're putting the chamber in your graveyard for like future extensions during the combo. So my suggestion is when you're thinking of what to discard with Ravine, just think of whatever you need to normal summon. Um, Extenders for the most part, like yeah, they all have their own purposes and they're all really good, but it's better to get your combo rolling first than worry about like the extensions that are in your hand that you're going to be discarding. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the combo video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys try out this variant. Like I said, like this 40 card list is like still in testing. I've already got like a second one kind of ready to go. But I'm still kind of refining it, and I'll probably have like another one in like 2 or 3 weeks. Once I figure out like how low I can get the deck count while having 2 tidying and potentially 3 Nocto. I actually am kind of on the fence about it because it actually kind of breaks more than I thought it would. But like I said, in like probably like 2 or 3 weeks, I'll kind of update with a deck profile and we'll go from there. But yeah, thanks for checking out this video, guys. I'll see you around.